New and exciting.
Welcome to Toplines and Tails, and something slightly different where we're going to do the Toplines and Tails Livestock quiz, but we're going to do it as a pod quiz. So I'm going to record last night's live livestock quiz as a questions podcast, and then we'll give the answers at the end. So it just sounds like it doesn't make much sense, but basically it's an online quiz you can have a listen to, have a laugh, get your answers, and then you'll get the answers at the end. And if you want to send your scores into me, then please do that at Toplines and Tails. So we'll go straight on with the quiz, and the Toplines and Tails Livestock Quiz number 1, round number 1. So the very first one, and here they go. The first round is on UK and Ireland agricultural shows. So this is for 10 points, 10 questions. Here we go, question 1. The Coleman's Cup is awarded to the interbreed group or team of animals at which UK county show? The Coleman's Cup is awarded to the interbreed team of animals at which UK county show? Question 2. By number of visitors, which show is the largest in the UK? By number of visitors, which agricultural show is the largest in the UK? Question 3. Which town is near to Cornwall County Show? Which town is Cornwall County Show at? Question 4. There are 2 one-day shows held in UK on the first Thursday in August every year, both claiming to be the biggest one-day shows in the UK. What are they? 2 one-day shows held on the first Thursday in August, both claiming to be the biggest one-day show in the UK. Which shows are they? I want them both for 1 point. You get a half if you get one of them. Which show in West Scotland, this is question 5, which show in West Scotland is usually the first major show of the year? So what's the first major show of the year in Scotland? Is there in the West? Question 6, with 70,000 visitors per day, what movable event is the biggest show in Ireland? 70,000 visitors a day. Movable event, what's the biggest show in Ireland? Question 7. Balmoral Show in Northern Ireland is held on the site of which former prison? Balmoral Show in Northern Ireland is held on the site of which former prison? Question 8. The Royal Three Counties Show in Malvern represents which 3 English counties? I need all 3 for a point this time. The Royal Three Counties Show in Malvern represents which English 3 counties? Question 9. The Royal Northern Spring Show is held where? Royal Northern Spring Show is held where? And question 10. The Bath and West Show is near to which airport? It's the last question. The Bath and West Show is near to which airport? That's the end of round 1. Here we go, round 2, the Toplines and Tails Livestock Quiz 1. Round 2 for another 10 points. This round is on sheep. Question 1. Name the 3 variants of the Leicester breeds of sheep in the UK. I need all 3 for a point. The 3 variants of the Leicester breeds of sheep in the UK. That's question 1. Question 2. The Suffolk sheep originated from 2 different breeds. What are they? I need both for a point again. Don't need to know which way round there, but the Suffolk sheep originated from 2 different breeds. What are they? Question 3. King Charles III runs a flock of what breed of sheep at Castle of May? King Charles III runs a flock of sheep at the Castle of May. Then what breed are they? Question 4. The Texel sheep have a birthday this year. This is 2024. Texel sheep have a birthday this year. How long have they been in the UK? So question 4, how long has the Texel sheep been in the UK? Question 5, the Welsh badger-faced sheep are known as what in Welsh? There's one for you Welshmen there, Welsh people there should I say. The Welsh badger-faced sheep are known as what in Welsh? There's 2. I'll take the spelling and I'll take the pronunciation. Question 6, 350,000 guineas is the world record price, or is the record price for a UK sheep anyway. So 350,000 guineas is the record price for a UK sheep. What is the second top price for a sheep in the UK? So question 6, what is the second top price for a sheep in the UK? I don't need to know the name of the sheep. You can tell me that if you want. Question 7, the Royal Welsh Show is the biggest sheep show in the world. How many breeds are there? So how many breeds of sheep are there at the Royal Welsh Show? And I'll take 3 either way because it's quite a number. So how many breeds of sheep are there at the Royal Welsh Show? Different breeds. Question 8. How many breeding ewes are there in the UK? I'll accept 1 million either way on this one. How many breeding ewes are there in the UK? Don't go running off to Google looking this up because it's probably a fairly easy answer to find. But if you know that, how many breeding ewes there are in the UK, then you've got your head right there in the sheep business. Question 9. What is the sire of a Masham sheep? That's spelled M-A-S-H-A-M, pronounced Massam in actual fact. What is the sire of a Masham sheep or a Massam sheep? That's question 9. And question 10. Recently introduced to the UK, where is the Dorper breed of sheep from? And I'll spell that D-O-R-P-E-R. The Dorper breed of sheep, where are they originally from? They're recently introduced into the UK. So that's question 10, and that's the end of round 2. Round 3 is a logo round, so that's not one I can do on a podcast, but you can, if you go onto the Toplines and Tails Facebook page, you'll find a link to the logo round. There's 12 logos in there if you want to work out what they all are, or you could just skip that one and we'll carry on to round 4. And round 4 is a specialist round. Each month we're going to have a specialist round, and this week's special round is on Dolly the sheep. Yes, Dolly the cloned sheep. So for 8 points in this round, the Toplines and Tails Livestock Quiz 1, round 4. So the first question on Dolly the sheep. Question 1, what breed was Dolly the sheep? What breed was Dolly the sheep? She was a specific breed. I'll take half a point for half the breed, but she was a specific breed. I'd like to know what she was. Question 2, who or what was Dolly named after? Question 2, who or what was Dolly the sheep named after? Question 3 on round 4, what year was Dolly the sheep born? And I'll take a year either side for that. What year was Dolly the sheep born? Question 5, who is recognised as being responsible for the cloning of Dolly the sheep? So who was the main man behind it? If you include as a man, the main man behind the cloning of Dolly the sheep. Question 5, how old was Dolly when she died? How old was Dolly the sheep when she died? How long did she live for? How old was she when she died? Question 5. Question 6, where was the cloning of Dolly the sheep performed? So where was Dolly the sheep born? Where was she cloned? I'd like to know the actual place rather than just the city, if you can. Question 7. How many lambs did Dolly the sheep have? How many lambs did Dolly the sheep have? Was question 7. And question 8, the last one. Dolly the sheep is now stuffed and on display where? She's actually preserved in formaldehyde, and she's on display on a platform. And where is that? That's the round 4 on our special round. And the last round, round 5, although depending whether you took in round 3 with the logo rounds or not, round 5, this is going to be quite formulaic from now on. We're going to have sheep at the beginning and cattle at the end. So this is round 5, and it's on cattle. All questions round about cattle anyway. So Toplines and Tails Livestock Quiz 1, round 5, and this one's for 10 points. Question 1. Widely recognised as one of the top show cows in the UK, how many times did the Charolais cow Kilkenny Celia win the Burke Trophy at the Royal Show? So the great show cow, Charolais cow there, show cow Kilkenny Celia, how many times did she win the Burke Trophy at the Royal Show? Question 2. The Angus bull Lindurtis of Ulse made a record price in 1963. How much was it? The Angus bull Lindurtis of Ulse made a record price in 1963. How much was that? And I'll take the price in either guineas or pounds. That was question 2. Question 3. Captain Ben Coots judged the Burke Trophy at the Royal Show in 1980. What breed did he controversially put champion? Captain Ben Coots judged the Burke Trophy in 1980. What breed did he controversially put champion? That's a pair of animals, obviously, at the Burke Trophy. That was question 3. Question 4. What is the record price for a shorthorn bull in the UK? What is the record price for a shorthorn bull, a beef shorthorn bull, in the UK? Question 5. Donald Biggar's grandfather, so that's Jamie and Duncan's great-grandfather, Walter Biggar, judged Chicago International Show in the USA a record number of times. How many times did he judge the show? So Walter Biggar judged Chicago International Show a record number of times. How many times was that? Question 6. What two breeds of cattle originally make up the Ling breed? Those that don't know, the Ling is spelled Luing. The Ling breed is made up originally from two breeds of cattle. What are they? Question 7. The now extinct Alderney breed of cattle comes from where? The Alderney breed of cattle, now extinct, comes from where? Question 8. The Salur breed, and again I'll spell that Saler for those that don't know, the Salur breed of cattle originates from which country? So where does the Salur breed of cattle come from? That's question 8. Question 9. Britain's main sale of Highland cattle is in which town? Britain's main sale of Highland cattle is held in which town? And then finally, question 10, and the last question this week. By the mid-1970s, there were only 30 Irish moiled cows left in the world. So they were nearly extinct, but not quite. They're still on the Rare Breed Survival Trust watch list, but how many are there now? So in 2024, by the mid-70s, there were only 30 Irish moiled cows left in the world. How many are there now? And that's a fantastic tantamount to how the RBST preserves our breeds, and to breeders out there who are getting involved in the Irish mould cows world and to use. So how many Irish mould cows are there out there now? So that's question 10, and that's the final question on our pod quiz this week. If you like the way I did that, podcast and quiz, pod quiz, So I will give you the answers in a few minutes. So here we are. I don't like to keep you in suspense any longer. I'll give you the answers to all 5 rounds. So if you haven't looked at the logos, then you'll have to have the answers before you get the questions. But I'll give you the answers now to the rounds. And Toplines and Tails Livestock Quiz 1, our first livestock quiz, the first round. Round 1 was on UK and Ireland shows. And the first question was, where is the Coleman's Cup awarded? And that is the Royal Norfolk Show. The Royal Norfolk Show, because that's the headquarters in Norwich there of the Coleman's Mustard, of course. So that's why the Coleman's Cup is presented there from the Coleman family. Question 2, the largest show in the UK is, of course, the Royal Welsh Show. And those that haven't been there should get there, and those that have been there will know you get a lot of people. It gets very, very busy. So that's the Royal Welsh Show there in Bilth. That's the largest show in the UK. Question 3, where is the Cornwall Show? It's in Wadebridge. So it's sort of halfway up the coast from the very south there, in Wadebridge, and a great show if you haven't been there. I hope you get there one day. It was raining the day I went there, to be fair. That's Cornwall Show is in Wadebridge. Question 4, the 2 shows that are held on the first Thursday in August are the Black Isle Show and Burwarton Show. Burwarton Show down there in Shropshire, the Black Isle, of course, up there in northern Scotland. And they're both held on the same day, and they're both fantastic shows, and they both get a lot of people, and good shows to win, prestigious. The question 5, the first show in Scotland, the first major show in Scotland is normally Ayr Show, and that's middle of May, I think, and that's the Ayr Show is one of the very early shows on the show circuit there, so Ayr I wanted. Question 6, the largest show in Ireland, of course, is the National Ploughing Competition. If you haven't been there, again, a fantastic event to go to. They don't just plough, they have everything there. They have all sorts of livestock there. Livestock competition is a huge competition, and it moves around to different places. Well, I think it's been in the same place the last couple of years, but the National Ploughing Competition in Ireland is their biggest show there. Question 7, the show on the Royal Balmoral Show is on the site of the Maze Prison. They moved it out of town, out of the King's Hall, 4 or 5 years ago, and it's now on the site of the Maze Prison in Antrim, just outside of Belfast. Question 8. The 3 counties are Worcestershire, Gloucestershire and Herefordshire. So if you've got all 3 of those, well done. Worcestershire, which Malvern is in Worcestershire, Gloucester just nearby, and Herefordshire just round the corner. So the 3 county show represents those 3 counties. Question 9. The Royal Northern Show is in Sainston, and if you're listening to this when it comes out there, I think it's pretty much this week that it's on there. The Royal Northern Show there is in Sainston in Aberdeen, held there in the Sainston cattle market there. And question 10, the Bath and West Show is near to Bristol Airport. It's very handy if you want to get down to the Bath and West Show, jump on a plane, you can get off at Bristol and you're nearly there. So Bristol Airport is near the Bath and West Show. So that's round 1 on the UK and Ireland shows. Round 2 to the sheep, border Leicester, Blueface Leicester. and the Leicester Longwool. Those are the three types of Leicester sheep. So that's three different types of Leicester sheep. The Leicester Longwools were the original ones, of course, developed by Robert Bakewell, and then the variations of those became the Border Leicester and the Scottish Borders, and the Blue-faced Leicester there slightly further south in Northumberland. So the Border Leicester, the Blue-faced Leicester, and the Leicester Longwool. Question 2, the Suffolk sheep was developed from the Norfolk Horn, its next door neighbour in Norfolk to Suffolk, the Norfolk Horn and the South Down. And the South Down, being one of the oldest breeds in the country, underpins a lot of the native sheep breeds in the UK. So the South Down is always a good guess if you want to know what's makeup of some of these lowland breeds. But it's the Norfolk Horn and the South Down. Question 3, King Charles keeps his grandmother's, should I say, flock of North Country chivets there at Castle of May. So under them guidance of the McCarthys there, the Northies are still there at Castle of May. King Charles has North Country chivets at the Castle of May. The Texel sheep, question 4, has been in the country in 2024. The Texel sheep has been in the country for 50 years, and this year there's going to be a celebration in the UK of the 50 years of the Texel sheep being here, and I've been involved in that as well. We've got a book coming out to celebrate the 50 years of the Texel sheep here in the UK. Question 5 is the Welsh badger face is, I'm going to give you the spelling, it's spelt Tordhu, so Tordhu. If you look up the Welsh badger face, it'll be the Tordhu, but they pronounce it the Torthi because the Welsh have their own language, as you know. So the Welsh badger face, one of the biggest sections in the Royal Welsh Show there, and the locals will call them the Torthi, but it is spelt Tordhu. Question 6, the second highest price sheep in the UK. We've had a few blackie breeders on here saying it was them, but it wasn't. The first highest price was, of course, the Texel, 350,000 for Sportsman's Double Diamond, and the second highest price, at the time of this quiz anyway, is 220,000. 220,000, and that was for Devrondale Perfection back there in 2009, and sold that to Glenside and a few others. Devrondale Perfection, 220,000. That was question 6. Question 7, the number of breeds there are at the Royal Welsh Show, and again, if you've been there or counted them or looked at the schedule, it's amazing. There's breeds that you didn't know existed, and there's 47 of them. So there's 47 different breeds of sheep at the Royal Welsh Show, and it is the biggest sheep show, I think, in the world, and I think that's the most number of sheep at any show represented. So 47 different breeds of sheep at the Royal Welsh Show is question 7. Question 8, there are 14.4 million breeding ewes in the UK, again, at the time of this quiz, 14.4 million. I said I'd take a million either way there, so 14.4 million is the answer to question 8. Question 9, the Massam sheep is sired by a Teeswater. So a Teeswater is a local breed up there in Yorkshire, so anybody who lives that part of the world probably knows that, and Swaledale breeders will all know that, but it's a Teeswater that is the sire of the Massam sheep. And question 10, the Dorper comes originally from South Africa, and for those of you that have seen them, they're starting to creep a few into the country now. There are some in America, there are some various other places, but they come from South Africa. They're a sheep that sheds its wool. Some of them are pure white, some of them do have a black head from the shoulders up to the top of the head, totally black. They're quite a striking looking sheep and a great carcass. So the answer I was looking for question 10 was South Africa for the Dorper sheep. Question 5, the logos. I'll run through these quickly because if you've seen them, that's fine. If you haven't, well, you can go back and look at them later just to see. So question 1 was the Aberdeen Angus Cattle Society logo. Question 2 was Breed Plan. Question 3, the Royal Highland Show. We'll all know that one. Royal Highland Show, question 3. Question 4, the Parthenaise Cattle Society. Question 5, the Suffolk Sheep Society. Question 6, the Red Pole Cattle Society. Question 7, the Sheep Game, of course, there with Cammy, if you're listening. Cammy, you managed to get yourself onto the first quiz already, but that's the logo for the Sheep Game. Question 8 is the logo for the Texel Sheep Society. Question 9 is the British Wool Board. Question 10 was the Shorthorn Cattle Society. That's the Beef Shorthorn Cattle Society. I think that might be both cattle societies. They're all under one umbrella, so it's the Shorthorn Cattle Society. Question 11 is the British White Cattle Society, and question 12 was the Lincoln Longwool Sheep Breeders Association. So if you've had a look at those logos and you've gone through those, then well done. If you haven't, then ignore this part of the quiz. So we'll go on to round 4 of the specialist round on Dolly the Sheep, and Dolly the Sheep was a Finn Dorset. It's a F-I-N-N, a Finn Dorset. So those that said Dorset, you get half a point, but she was actually a Finn Dorset. I'm not 100% sure whether the Finn Dorset maybe came from Finland or just what the makeup of a Finn Dorset is, but that's what Dolly the Sheep was. She was a Finn Dorset. Number 2 was quite controversial. Dolly the Sheep was named after Dolly Parton. And the reason she's named after Dolly Parton is when they cloned the cells from the parent sheep, they took them from the udder, and it's a sheep with a particularly big udder, and she, one of the guys there comically called her Dolly the Parton, and the name stuck. So Dolly the sheep was named after Dolly Parton, the singer. Dolly the Parton was born in 1996 from the clone, from the cells, but it wasn't announced to the press until February 1997. So I will give you 1997 because that's when it hit the headlines, but she was actually born in 1996. And question 4, Dolly the sheep was cloned by Professor Ian Wilmot. Professor Ian Wilmot, very, very well-known man in the industry, and a fantastic achievement that he made there. So hats off to you, Professor Ian Wilmot, and the advances that all your team made in cloning going back there in the middle 90s. So that was question 4. Question 5, Dolly lived till she was 6. She was actually 6.5 when she died, but she lived till she was 6. Question 6, Dolly was cloned at Roslin Institute in Edinburgh. Roslin Institute there, which is still there. Roslin Institute in Edinburgh was where Dolly was cloned and born. Question 7, Dolly had 6 lambs. She had 1 single, 1 set of twins, and 1 set of triplets. So Dolly had 6 lambs. And question 8, Dolly is now in the Scottish National Museum in Edinburgh. And as I said before, she's preserved in formaldehyde, literally on a big platform going round and round, and you can go and see her if you want to. And it's a great day at the Scottish National Museum in Edinburgh. So that's the rounds on Dolly the sheep, round 4. And round 5, the last round, is the cattle round, and we mentioned that great show cow Kilkenny Celia, and hopefully have Jim McMillan on my Toplines and Tales podcast shortly talking about Kilkenny Celia won the Burke Trophy twice. She won it twice. She was in for it 3 times, but she didn't get the 3rd time. She won it twice. So Kilkenny Celia, question 1, won it twice. Question 2, the bull Lindertis of Ulse made 60,000 guineas. 60,000 guineas, which equates to £63,000, and that's back there in 1963 when 60,000 guineas was a lot of money. Would have bought quite a few farms, and I'm sure it did for Sir Torquil Munro, and the Munro family is still farming cattle at Lindertis, Angus cattle at Lindertis now. So £63,000, 60,000 guineas was the price of Lindertis of Ulse. Question 3, the Longhorn pair won the Burke Trophy when Ben Coots judged it. I think it was quite controversial. I'm not sure they'd won the Burke before, certainly not for a long time. There was a pair of great Longhorns there, and we've spoken about the Longhorns on my Toplines and Tales podcast. Ben Coots put them up there to win the Burke Trophy back there in the 1980s. The top price for a shorthorn bull is actually more recent. It doesn't go back into those old days. It's more recent, and the top price was 27,000 guineas, and that was back in 2021, I think, for Bradley Farmers, if I remember right. 27,000 guineas was the top price for a shorthorn bull back there just a couple of years ago. Walter Bigger judged question 5. Walter Bigger judged the Chicago International Show a record 13 times. He made such a good job the first time he went that they invited him back, and they kept inviting him back year after year after year to try and create a type of animal that was similar to each other. So in the 1920s, I think he started, and he judged the last one shortly after the Second World War. So Walter Bigger judged mainly the interbreed, I think, but at the Chicago show he judged a record 13 times. Question 6, the Ling breed is made up from Highlands and Shorthorns, of course made famous by the Cadzow brothers, or developed by the Cadzow brothers on the Isle of Ling, just down there from Oban, across from Oban. And the Ling breed was made up by a Shorthorn crossed with a Highlander and crossed back with a Shorthorn again, and that's the makeup of the Ling breed, which now are doing exceptionally well, and some great prices we saw in Stirling just recently. For congratulations to you guys. So the Ling breed's made up from the Highland and the Shorthorn. Number 7, the Alderney breed of cattle comes from the Channel Islands. Alderney is one of the islands in the Channel Islands. There's Guernsey, there's Jersey, there's others as well, but there's Alderney, and they had their own breed of cattle there, a dairy breed of cattle, which they exported a lot to the USA and to Canada, and were still going over there, I think, for a while, but certainly extinct here in the UK, the Alderney breed of cattle from the Channel Islands. Question 8, the Salers breed of cattle come from the Massif Central in France, so pretty much the centre of France, the mountainous area there in the centre of France. That's where the Salers come from originally, and there are some over there in the Alps and various places, but they came from the Massif Central originally in France, and now doing very well in the UK, of course. Question 9, the Highland cattle sales are, of course, at Oban, and it's an annual pilgrimage, or twice annual pilgrimage to go across there to the sales, but Oban, at the new market now, used to be in the old market down there in the town, now it's at the new market, and that's where all the Highland guys go there on the pilgrimage, and that's where all the great Highland cattle go there to get sold. And question 10, the Irish Moyles, and I put this one in because I was speaking to Sally Crowe last week, and the Irish Moyle Cattle Society, the cattle were nearly extinct, and they're now up to 1,600 cows in the UK, which is a brilliant achievement and tantamount to the hard work of a lot of people there. So the Irish Moyle cow, there's now 1,600 of them. So that's our Top Lines and Tails pod quiz for this week, for this month, should I say. I might do them more often. I'd like some feedback from all of you out there, anybody listening to this. If you want to send me in your answers, do. At the moment, at the live quiz, which we had yesterday, Brenda Weir was the winner with 33.5 points. So, Brenda, that's the one to beat. And please don't go cheating and looking these things up there and come back and say, I've got 51 points out of 50, because you won't. I think the actual total is 48 points you can get. The maximum is 48. So, Brenda got 33.5 out of 48. Go in there, give it yourself a try. And if not, I hope you just enjoyed us listening away while you're driving about in your tractor or wherever you listen to your Top Lines and Tails podcast. I hope you've enjoyed our first Top Lines and Tails livestock quiz, and we'll see you again shortly on the Top Lines and Tails podcast. So thanks for your time.